Hi, this is Chris here for MusicRadar, and we're with Joe Satriani backstage at Frankfurt Musicmesse 2009. And Joe, obviously you've just done a press conference where you've been talking about your new pedals and taking a Q&A from fans and things like that. You sort of seem to suggest that there were more pedals on the way, maybe in different colours and things. Can you give us any sneak previews as to what they might be? Or
Well, we embarked on this idea of having a whole pedal line a few years ago, and it's been non-stop pedal development. So as soon as we get one sort of put to bed, the next one comes up on the drawing board. So we have two that are in the demo process right now. We're making fantastic headway. I'm hoping maybe in about 6 months we might have the next pedal out. And I've been told not to say too many things about it.
Okay.
But I am continuing in the theme that these should be exciting but thoroughly useful. And I don't want to really get into the esoteric pedals until much later. I'm really keen on making sure that these pedals are really solid tools that, number one, I can use, that I want to use, and that other players will find extremely useful.
And affordable as well, because I think the pricing, the average guitar player can actually, pick them up without it being too much,
It's extremely important.
Yeah. So obviously the Chickenfoot record is imminent, and I think you alluded earlier on to the fact that there's some of the Vox pedals are all over the record in various points. Or anything is there anything a particular track that people should listen out for where you can really hear the sound of maybe the delay or the saturate?
Well, there's wah-wah in a couple of spots that's pretty overt, and that's all the big bad wah. Which is great. That worked out great in a variety of amps with a bunch of guitars. I had my usual Ibanez guitars that make up 90% of the record, but every once in a while I pick up a vintage 59 335 or a 55 Les Paul that a friend lent me, and it would be great to hear the vintage guitars into the big bad wah going out into our new PV 50 watt, which is a very vintage sounding amp, and it sounded just like 1968 or something. It was just fantastic how that wah-wah sounds. So you can hear that. You'll hear the saturator on quite a few songs, and sounding very different. And the other cool thing is that quite a few songs had, were from our rehearsal / demo period where we didn't know if we were actually doing the best take that was going to come out of it. So we wound up using some of them. And so some of them had the main guitar recorded not only with the saturator, but also printed with the Time Machine delay, which is something you really wouldn't do. Usually you hold off on effects, until later. But because we thought it was a scratch track, we weren't thinking about that. So it was great to hear it come back and hear it as we mixed the record, hearing it blend in with all the other overdubs. And it did what it was supposed to do. It didn't get in the way. It created atmosphere. And I think that's what you want out of these pedals. You need them to be pliable, and not to always overshadow the sound of the guitar, the style of the song, or the vibe of the mix.
Obviously, you're a guy who's done a hell of a lot of solo records, and now this is a different situation with the band. Have you had to do anything to change your style, or think or rethink certain things to lock in with the rhythm a different rhythm section?
Well, every musician you play with is a different thing. It's always a give and take. It's really a gold mine. I mean, it's this you have all this wonderful energy coming from players, and your idea it really should be to always be interacting every second. And players like Chad and Mike are just unbelievable. I mean, they just give. That's what they do. Every measure, they're giving something interesting. And we recorded this stuff without a click, so everything succeeded purely on the personality of everybody locking together. Every time we did a take, and that was fun. And it does change the way that you play. I mean, most people out there play in bands with singers, so it's not very they're used to it. I guess I'm the one with the odd gig, doing the solo stuff so often. But you've got to think of the song and the melody, and in this case, how Sam is going to be singing over it. Thankfully, Sam with all the takes that we did for the background tracks, Sam always sang. He would sit there and sing for 6 hours if that's how long it took. And very often we used his actual vocal from the live cut to be the main vocal. But so you can hear us reacting to him during that. And I think what it is the main difference is that the rhythm guitar is to be more supportive, but at the same time, I think it can be a little bit crazier than if you're doing an instrumental, where sometimes the rhythm guitars need to be a little bit more stream of consciousness so that the melody guitar can be a little bit more adventurous.
Okay, well, thanks very much for your time today, Joe. That's great, and enjoy the rest of the show.